Good day, Inner Circle and one-on-one coaching members. Brian Moses here, the founder of Real Estate Training Breakthroughs, customized coaching and seminars, here with a great topic call for you today. Today, we found a common thread amongst our members, and Alex and I decided to talk about a winning mindset, a winning psychology. I think you'd all agree that some people have that psychology where they just don't quit, they don't give up, their beliefs empower them to find a way or figure out a way. Yet there are other people where their beliefs and maybe their experiences, their background, their past, their psychology causes them to quit or give up. I recently, and I'm intentionally not sharing a screen because I'm looking at an email that I received from a member here. And I'm going to share with you a very common thread. So let me just read this here. I got to put on my glasses, folks. So here's an email from one of our Inner Circle members. And they said that my marketing is not panning out. So I don't know if anybody else is feeling like your marketing isn't panning out or it's not working as well as it should be. If that's the case, this call is going to be very, very beneficial to you. So my marketing is not panning out. Specifically, in the 2 weeks of July, all of August and September, 86 leads. So if you're taking notes, I'd like you to write this down. 86 leads. Of those, 20 were actually the correct leads, correct addresses. All were called, all were sent the twist letter. 2 responses to the twist letter, 3 total appointments set. One's looking to invest, and one is a buyer, and one is still deciding. So of the 86 inquiries, 3 viable leads. So can anybody tell me what, if you were a coach working with me, what can you ascertain from that? Any volunteers? I hear somebody talking in the background. So here's why Alex and I wanted to do the psychology. 86 leads, 20 were actual leads. I don't believe that 20 were actual leads. I believe that there's more opportunity in that 86. I think we're missing something here. I'd have to really do a autopsy and go through them. But irrespective, let's say that it was correct. They had 86 inquiries and 20 were actual leads. Of the 20 leads that responded to the marketing of selling a home or a twist letter, hey, there are buyers looking in your area, you may be able to sell your home. If you're thinking about selling your home, inquire. Of those 20 people, how is it possible that there's only 3 viable leads? So the lens that this person is looking at, the psychology lens that they're looking at, is they're looking at the glass as half empty. And I'm curious if anybody else is looking at your glass as half empty versus looking at your glass as half full. There's 20 leads and we only have 3 appointments. All of them were called, but it doesn't tell me how many of them were reached. I'm sure, absolutely certain, that this coaching member didn't reach 20 because nobody reaches 20. But what else can we do? What else can we do to engage these people? And what other marketing can we do that's inexpensive or free? So I want to talk about the psychology. Do you see the glass as half empty, or do you see the glass as half full? In other words, if it's not dead, we're saying there's a chance, right? Like until it's absolutely end of the road, there is no quit. Winning psychology is, if you have 20 addresses and you sent the twist letter and they didn't respond to the twist letter, and there's a shortage of leads, like 20 leads is not an amazing number of leads for 10 weeks. We need to do more. I think there's more in that bucket of 86. But if it was Brian Moses and in 10 weeks I only had 20 opportunities and that's all I had, my question for you folks is how important on a scale of 0 to 10 is it that I speak with all 20? Want to put it in the comments? How important? It's a 10. So what that means is if they don't respond to the twist letter and they don't respond to my phone calls and they don't respond to my messages, text messages or emails, how many of you think Brian Moses might stop and drop in on their house? I'm not talking about going door knocking from 8 in the morning on a Saturday till 5 p.m. and knocking on 1,000 doors until your fingers bleed. But these 20 people responded to the fact that they're selling your home. And if it's a 10 that we must speak to them, I'm seeing that as the glass is half full. I'm seeing a tremendous opportunity there. If you are speaking with the vast majority of them and you're only getting 1, 2, 3 appointments, your offer isn't that compelling. A couple of things I want to talk about today. One is the psychology, right? And one way to build your psychology, let me just open on my screen share. And I'll do a Word document here. Okay. So if we look at KPIs, and I want to teach you how to do an autopsy of your business because everybody's got different strengths and different weaknesses. We need leads. If we have 86 leads and we're finding fault with 66 of them, right? So we're saying 20 leads were correct. Our brain, does everybody see, is conditioned, if that's your statement, is conditioned to find fault with 66. I am not looking for fault, folks. I am looking for the glasses half full. So what you focus on, you'll find. I can tell you, I've been doing this a long time. If we're conditioned, and there's the big breakthrough for everybody, and there's no judgment in it, it's not our fault that we're conditioned that way. It's often our teachers, our parents, our environment. We are just conditioned to find problems with shit because that's how Americans are wired. If instead we looked for the good, you would find more good. It's really there's one thing that's in our training documents. I'm going to find it for you here for a second because it's important. One-on-one, okay. If you've gone through our resource library, it's in one of these two documents. I'm just going to open it up. Right here. All right, so if we look at the buyer and the seller process, when we're calling our leads, maybe we should move this to the top. Can everybody see this? It says, don't ever judge your leads. How do we know it's an incorrect address? I have no clue. I mean, what you look for, you will find. If I have an inquiry, I'm calling that inquiry and I am assuming positive intent. Am I right 100% of the time? No. But what I focus on, I get. What I focus on, I attract. What I think about, I bring about. So I'm telling you that there are laws of the universe that are far more powerful then our effort, and then our skill. If we are, a negative Nelly, and I'm not suggesting the person that I was sharing the context of the email. I didn't share the person's name, but I shared the context of the email. If we're focused on the bad, we're going to get more bad. I want you to focus on the good. There are 20 good addresses in there and probably more. So let's control what we can control. Let me give you a quick story. Many of you have heard you all know that my son plays high school football. He's got goals to go on to college, and he's got some limitations. He's 5'8", 145 pounds. He wants to play Division I college. He can control what he can control, but he can't control his height. He's not waking up every day going, fuck, I'm short. Fuck, I'm short. Damn it, I'm short. I wish I was 6'5". What he's waking up every day is doing what he can control. So I want you to take note of that. And by the way, let me just show this to you. I'm going to tell you, I don't know how it's the case. Hang on one second. Because I think there's great instruction in this. And I'm telling you that we are getting in our own way and we're defeating ourselves before we have a chance. Let's look at this. Okay. So do not judge your leads. But you guys can see my screen here. We got this email today. This is from Brown University. Brown University is a Division I AA Ivy League school. My 5'8" son got this email from the coach when he emailed the coach and he said, hey, coach, I tore my ACL. I had all these great intentions of sending you some great stats and impressing the hell out of you, but I got to play the hand that was dealt to me. If you look, I don't have the email from my son, but that's basically what he said. I got to play the hand that's dealt me. So if you do an ad campaign and you get 20 leads and you were hoping for 50, you got to play the hand that's dealt you. Focus on that hand. So he's playing the hand that's dealt him. The coach says, sorry. He says, we're not giving up on you. If you get into Brown on your own, you have a spot with us as a walk-on. Myself, Coach Smith, and Coach Perry, who is the head coach of Brown football, all love your energy. Hayden is controlling what he can control. And then he invited him to a game. So we got that great news today, but I'll tell you the great news didn't come because of Hayden. It came because of his psychology, because of his laws of attraction. So I wanted to press the reset button with everybody and have you do a self-assessment. Are you waking up every day feeling great? Or are you waking up every day wondering where your next check's going to come from, where your next deal's going to come from? Are you waking up worried, concerned, frustrated, challenged? If that's the case, I'm going to tell you how to get out of it. Life is a perspective. We can look at things from one of two ways. We can look at things with what is wrong with our business. How many of you could find things that are wrong with your business? I know I can. What is wrong about our business, about our life, or what is great about our business, about our life? So here's the deal. Hayden lost his entire senior season. He's been playing football since he was 5. He is not focused on what sucks about his injury. He's focused on what's great about his injury. Now that takes some balls to ask yourself, hey, what's good about this? But the quality of your life, folks, is in direct correlation to the quality of the questions you ask yourself on a consistent daily basis. So every day I start my day with a gratitude list. Like if I were to ask you all what you are grateful for, hopefully you could all come up with something that's makes you feel amazing. Because if you don't feel amazing, what's the likelihood you're going to have much success converting a call to an appointment? Even if you use the right words, even if you use the right script. And if you use the metrics to recognize that you're short of your goals, what's great about it is you have no limitations to other things you can do. But I'm going to give you all a homework assignment because it will make you feel great despite the adversity and the shit that's going on in your life. I want you to understand, I know that every single one of you on today's call has challenges, has frustrations, has obstacles in your life. Some are more severe than others. When Hayden first got injured, I was devastated because I was focusing on everything that we lost or that I perceived that we lost. And then I flew to Texas to do an event in Austin, and I had lunch with a lady who was a participant at the event, and her sister lost her 5-year-old son to cancer. And I'm like, holy shit. But sometimes we get so sucked up in our own world, gang, that it limits us. We can't see the forest for the trees because we're so focused on ourselves and on what we don't have and on how bad things are. So today's call is really to just give you a little bit of inspiration to know that no matter how bad it is for you, it could be worse. You know, and if it's okay, Harry, I'll mention you. Harry Kimbrough's on our call. Folks, Harry's been through hell and back in the last month. He had a freaking heart attack. His valves were closed 100%. We're lucky he's alive. And not only is he alive, every day he goes to work and controls what he can control. I had a one-on-one call with Harry the other day. And Harry, let me tell you, you are a fucking inspiration. You're an amazing human being. Harry's not crying about the cards that were dealt him. He's going, hey, Bri, what can I do to generate more leads? Let's look at our business. Let's look at our metrics. Let's look at our ads. And Harry has a winning psychology. So who do you know that has a winning psychology? If you found, now this is easier said than done. We need to condition a winning psychology. Just like probably, I don't know, unless anybody on here, maybe John Porter, probably could run 6 miles pretty robustly. He's in great shape. But for some of us, we wouldn't be able to run 6 miles. We'd need to condition ourselves, build up to it. That takes training. Your psychology requires training. How do you train your psychology? You focus on what you're grateful for. So here's a homework assignment for everybody. This will be a game changer, I promise you. If you haven't already done it, write out 25 things minimum that you're grateful for. And I'm not talking about I'm grateful that I can breathe. I'm grateful that I'm alive. I'm grateful for my wife, my husband, my kids. I want you to put some freaking adjective in here. Look at me. Be careful what you wish for. I'm grateful for adversity because adversity causes growth. Do you know how much I grew through Hayden's injury this year? I took it harder than he did. I mean, my kid, the varsity captain, the senior quarterback, this was his year. He had goals to throw for 300 yards a game, 3 touchdowns passing, 1 touchdown rushing. Those were his goals. He would have crushed this year. This was his opportunity, all those years of hard work to be in the spotlight, and it's gone. So I could focus on that, or I could focus on what we can do. What we can do is we can ice his knee, we can get him back to shape, we can get his knee to 90 degrees, and then eventually to 120 so he can ride a bike. He can reach out to the schools and let them know that he's not a quitter, and then get an email back from Brown. Now, let me tell you, if I had a choice that my kid could play out his senior year of high school and never play college football or never go to an elite academic school, or he could lose his senior year of high school and go to an elite academic school and play football, There's no choice. If that's the choice, I'd pick the latter. And that's what it's going to look like, because he doesn't quit. He doesn't give up. So, and I'm not suggesting that we're intentionally negative. There's no accusation here. We all do it. I shared with you myself the experiences that I went through as I'm dealing with the bad news. So maybe you're running a marketing campaign that isn't producing the results that you want. Well, if it's not producing the results that you want, let's learn from it. Let's do an autopsy and find out, is it the head? Now let's talk about that, by the way. So I'm going to give you homework. Do a gratitude list. Another thing you can do that will really help your psychology, folks, is affirmations. You all do them every day. You just don't know that you do them every day. What I mean by that is we have over 6,000 words of self-talk going on in our head every hour, and it's usually unconscious. It's like, my business sucks. My life is over because I lost my ACL, right? In Hayden's case. That's not good language. That's not good self-talk. I often talk about the white wolf and the black wolf fighting till the death in your head, right? The good cop, the bad cop. Recognize, be witness to that self-talk and control it by replacing that self-talk with conscious self-talk. So I'll give you an example for Hayden today. Hayden's self-talk today is, I'm going to Brown. I'm going to Brown. Well, that really is up to admissions, isn't it, folks? But he's putting it out to the universe. And what you focus on expands. I don't know why. I don't know how. But I'm telling you, when you believe it and you feel it and you pursue it and you put everything into it, good things will happen, and I wouldn't bet against them. So my goal to inspire you on today's call is, as your coach, would I be in a position where I wouldn't bet against you? Like if I said, hey, you need to produce some leads, you need to reach those leads, and you need to book appointments. Would your coach bet on you, or would he not? That's directly 100% within your control. Every one of you on today's call has the tools, the resources, the strategies, the tactics. Every one of you on today's call has my personal email and my cell phone number, and you're in the Inner Circle group. And honestly, folks, there's a fraction of you that take advantage of the opportunities that exist to you in this program. So this is not a tongue lashing. This is an invitation for me to help you. If you're having a challenge, email your coach. I hope you all know how much I care. Right? People don't care how much you know till they know how much you care. Get another set of eyeballs or perspectives on it. I had lunch with John Porter about 2 weeks ago. We had a great conversation. John's in New Hampshire. Some of you immediately go, well, frick, I wish I lived in New Hampshire. Well, there's that negative thinking again, seeing the glass as half empty. What if we did FaceTime? What if what if you sent me an email? What if you sent me a message? Let's focus on what we can do and what we can control, not on what we can't. So I want you all to be witness to your thoughts, and I want you to be witness to what's going on in your life. And then let's look at these metrics to learn from it, right? The definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over again, expecting different results. So, comments, questions, thoughts. Anybody besides me could do a better job seeing the glass, seeing the opportunities that exist?
Brian?
Yeah.
Hey, it's Harry.
Harry.
On these ones, the remaining 66, wouldn't that give you an opportunity to nurture those for future business?
Well, I don't really have all the details on it. I was told that they have wrong addresses.
Oh.
So By the way, if we took 66 into 86, I mean, just based on probability and statistics, 66 divided by 86, there is no way that 3 out of 4 people are giving you, out of a sampling that of that size, absolute, I'd bet a large amount of money on it, that we may believe that that's the case because we're so conditioned to find fault with shit. If we were looking for the opportunity, I don't know if the emails are good, if the addresses are bad. I don't know if the names are bad. I'd need to look. I want to assume that 86 inquiries are good. There's going to be a percentage that are no good. There's always going to be a percentage of Mickey Mouse. We have some ladies on the call, so I'll be polite. But I used to get emails like Joe Blow at jerk yourself, take a hike.com, right? I would get ridiculous, insulting, offensive emails, and it would go in one ear and out the other. I don't even spend any time to it. But sometimes I was having a conversation with some friends of the family last night. They used to play football with Hayden. They go to a different school. She goes, our son Zachariah is going to apply to Harvard. And we're not telling anyone about it because everybody else is telling him why he can't get in. And I'm like, holy shit. Okay, so I got a message that there's a difference between a full lead and a partial lead. Full and partial. So a partial lead is address only. Address only. That doesn't mean the addresses are wrong. The email that I got said the addresses were wrong, and there's no way 66 out of 86 are wrong address. There is possibility that 66 out of 86 are partial leads, meaning all I have is an address. So, great job by the agent who sent the twist letter. But if they don't respond to the twist letter and I have 66 addresses, how many of you think there's something good about the 66 addresses? If those were the only leads I have, you have an address of somebody who responded that they're selling that house in the future. I would take a Saturday afternoon and I would go to 30 of those addresses in one day, or 15. Maybe I'd do it over a period of 4 days, and I would knock on those 66 doors and I would introduce myself. And when I introduced myself, I would say that, hey, they had registered on our site for a market evaluation, but I wanted to let them, they didn't leave a name or a phone number. So I took the liberty to stop by and introduce myself and let you know that the market evaluation that you get is probably incorrect. And the reason it's incorrect, Mr. Seller, and although there's some very good and useful information in that market report, the reason it's incorrect is because it was generated by a computer. So I wanted to introduce myself. My name's Brian Moses. I'm with Caldwell Banker Realty. You could reverse search the addresses, Harry. Yeah, you could. You could definitely reverse search the addresses. But what I'm saying is going all the way to the finish line, if you can't get their name and phone number, there is no way I'm not showing up at their house. They want to sell their house. That's not a cold call. That's not door knocking. That's me dropping in on a resident that wants to sell their house. So there is a huge opportunity in partial addresses. Now, the other thing too, the full leads come with name, address, and phone number. Now, some of the full leads may have an erroneous email. It may have an erroneous phone number. I'm not worried about it. The vast majority of them will be accurate. And these people are going to be more receptive to talking with you because they gave you their phone number and their name. The reason I want everybody to understand, The reason we get partial leads is because selling a home is a process. And out of 1,000 people in a state or in an area or geographical area that are thinking about selling their home, there's a timeline. Of 1,000 people, there might be 10% that are thinking about doing it in the next 30 days, which means 90% are doing it longer than 30 days. And if they're doing it longer than 30 days, what's the likelihood they want to be pestered by anybody? That's why they don't give their phone number. That's why they don't give their name. That's why they're a partial lead. That doesn't mean they're not selling. And gang, I can tell you this from experience. If you don't reach the partial leads, you can go back in history and look at those addresses and you'll find that they sold. So in other words, if you do nothing with them and just ignore them, better than half of these will result in sales, unfortunately with somebody else. Okay, let me look at some of these messages in the chat box. Hold on. Some are interested in the future. Yeah, that's 90% of them. So when they tell you they're interested in the future, they're not ready yet. What do you say? Anybody want to volunteer? What do you say when the seller says, "Yeah, we're not doing anything. We were just curious." Yeah, folks, no surprise there. That's 90% of the market. That's 90% of my leads. They're in the future. So you can either put them in a nurture bucket, or you can be more compelling to give them a reason to meet with you now, which would be a better strategy. The other thing too is, notice how I said at the beginning of the call, I do not judge my leads, no judgment. In other words, I'm not qualifying my leads. When I get a lead, I call that lead. Let's just list this out. And if I can't I call that lead, I reach the lead. If I don't get the lead on the phone, I probably send a twist letter or I'll send an email. I just signed up for Bomb Video. It's $50 a month. Great tool. No, I have no affiliation with them, but emails are not being responsive. If you can communicate a good offer, I want to get that offer in the hands of the lead. So there's many ways to do it. There's phone, there's direct mail, there's text, there's Bomb Video via email. That's better than just email. And then there's face-to-face. Face-to-face is the strongest form of influence. So this would be my preference, but it's not scalable because I can generate hundreds of leads. So phone is number one. Phone is number one. I probably would do Bomb Video number two, or a direct mail message. Any one of these easy non-time set, they don't take a long time to put a letter in the mail, to send a text, or drop a Bomb Video. But if I can't reach a lead, I will show up at their freaking doorstep. Now, here's my question. Regardless of how you get to that person, how you reach them, what is your offer?
I swear, I reach people, I swear. I never did that. Never did that. Never. Ooh.
What's that, Mike? Talking to someone else? Okay, all good. So you want to make an offer. So if they tell you they're not ready yet, you have a couple of options. You can go, okay, when will you be ready? And they go, I don't know, 2021, 2020, next summer. Give us a call back next summer. Okay. Does anybody on this call today think that I could ever have my team sell 400 homes a year? If 90% of the leads are over 30 days, right, which is pretty accurate. If I just said, or my team member said, oh, when are you moving? And they said next summer. And we said, okay, we'll follow you up. I would have never sold as much real estate as I did. So here's what I want you to do. I want you to not judge the lead. Okay, when they tell you that they're not doing anything for a year, I want it to go in one ear and out the other. I want you to let it go in one ear and out the other. Pretend like you didn't even hear it and make a more compelling offer. Anybody know what I'm talking about? What would I say? What should we say? Because, hey, by the way, gang, are we going to ever hear that again from a prospect? I'm in no rush. I'm doing something in 6 months from now. So if that's a pretty common response, we've got to be prepared. Nick, spot on. Hey, no problem. When the timing's more right, is getting the most amount of money important to you? They're going to say yes. Well, the best time to do that, folks, this is my offer, is before your home goes on the market. Then it's too late. There may be, and here's my offer, there may be some inexpensive things you can do to dramatically position your home so you get more money. And Mr. Seller, there may be some things that you're thinking of doing that you don't have to do or shouldn't do that'll save you time and money. And it doesn't sound like you're in a rush. So I'm in your area quite frequently. There's no cost or obligation for this service. How about I come by one day next week and make some recommendations free of charge? That's called an offer. Now, when they say yes to that, I have an appointment. If they say no to that, God couldn't get an appointment with this guy. But what's happening, I promise you, and folks, keep an open mind. I'm telling you the mistakes that I've made, and I promise you some of you are making them to this day. When the seller tells me that they're not doing anything for 6 months, I believe them. And when I believe them and say, okay, I'll call you in 6 months, and then their home goes on the market with someone else, I learn the hard way. So if I don't judge the lead, I don't even want to know what their time frame is. If they tell me that it's next spring, next summer, I don't even let that resonate in my brain. It's like I never heard it. Because if I hear it, it limits me from growth. It limits me from progressing. So I pretend like I never hear it. I continue to make an offer. And when I make that offer, here's what I promise you will happen. There will be a percentage of the time, maybe 30, 40% of the time. So for every 3 to 4 out of 10 people you talk to that tell you they're not doing anything in the near future, you let it go in one ear, go out the other, you continue to make the offer, they will let you proceed with the appointment. They will go, oh, you can tell me what I can do to increase my home's value. You can tell me what I shouldn't do. Yeah, you can come over. How about next week? If they're letting you come over, then we can call them liar, liar, pants on fire. They aren't. Nobody's going to let you come to their house if they're a year away, if they're 6 months away. Does this make sense, gang? So keep making the offer. That's how I got my wife. She told me, I'm not interested. I'm not interested. I don't want a boyfriend. I don't want a husband. I don't want a relationship. Kept sweetening the offer. She was full of shit. She was a liar. Wasn't true. John, 2 weeks ago, I had a client tell me they're no hurry to purchase a home. Next week, 3 showings later, put an offer in. Happens all the time. Happens all the time. Now, we can facilitate the acceleration of that by connecting the dots. The reason people tell you they're not in a hurry, they're in no rush, is because they don't know what all the moving parts are. It's our job to connect the dots. So when we reach somebody, everybody, big takeaway here today. Don't judge the lead. Assume good intention. Assume that they are selling. Assume they're going to sell. And if they're selling, they need your assistance. Now, when I get there, it's not about giving them free advice and checking back in with them in 6 months. How many of you know that to be, know me, that that's not what I would do? I'm not just going to go on an appointment so I can drop off my business card, meet them, look at them in the eye, and then go, okay, I'll call you next summer. When I'm there, I want to talk about the market. I want to talk about strategies to get the most amount of money for their house. And there's a lot of variables that go into that. Supply and demand, interest rates. Here's the quality of buyers. Do you want the motivation of a seller? When June comes around next year, is their motivation to sell and move going to be higher than it is today? The answer will be yes. Well, when your motivation is higher, guess what happens to your price? Goes down. By the way, what are interest rates going to be in June? Have you followed the mortgage market? So we just want to connect the dots. Let me show you this as a resource too. So we have two processes, one for buyers. Make sure you're following the process. This is worth pointing out because I would bet money, I don't know who, but I would bet money that if I were to mystery shop all of you, some of you will ask me a qualifying question as soon as you reach me. And that's bad. So resist the temptation to ask qualifying questions. If the goal is to get an appointment, let's do that. And let's do that by making an offer. And then when we have the appointment, then qualify that appointment. It's a very important distinction. So let's see if we can do this. Let's just do a quick little quiz. So I don't know any volunteers. You guys can do it in the chat box. So as far as the offer, I'm going to put offers because I want you all to be conditioned that, look, I wouldn't be married if I made one offer to my wife. Hey, do you want to go out? No. Okay, bye. I sweeten the offer. So I want you to have a minimum of 4 offers ready to go when you reach a prospect. When you reach a prospect, whether it be by phone or whether it be by face-to-face, I want you to have 4 offers ready to go. Who knows? So let's list them out. So when it comes to a seller, what's the first offer? Who can tell me? Type it in the chat box. Get a seller on the phone. They're a lead. They were personal referral. They were signed call. We find out they have a house. Nick Honor, awesome. Free CMA. Yes, I don't like the word CMA. I like to use words that sellers understand. Not everybody understands what a CMA is in society. So market evaluation. In fact, what your home would sell for if you were to sell it. So I can print out other properties that have recently sold, Mr. Seller, so that you would have a really good idea of what your home is worth if you were to sell it in today's market. So that's great. Good job, John. Good job, Nick. Okay, what if they say, well, we're not in any rush? Nick covered that. When you're ready to sell, is getting the most amount of money important to you? So I set them up. I use a setup question. And then I say tips, inexpensive tips that you can do that'll increase the saleability and the desirability and the value of your home, as well as things that you may be thinking of doing that you don't have to do, that'll save you time and money. And then the last one is, who knows what the last one is? Anybody? What's another benefit of having them meet with us? It's a detailed list of expenses. So that when you do sell, whenever that is, you know what all the expenses are, so how much you'll clear. Those are important to a seller. The other thing that we can do is we can eliminate risk, tell them that there's no cost or obligation for this service. It's a free service we provide. No obligation to list your home, no obligation to sell your home, but at least they'll be well prepared if they were to do it. It sounds like you're in no rush, so we don't need to get together this afternoon. We could get together next week. Now, let me just speak on that. We have been so conditioned as an industry and in sales to close, close, close for the appointment. So we're talking to a seller who says no. Let's see if this makes any sense. I want you all to understand the psychology that your prospects go through. So they go, oh no, we're not really in any rush. And they tell you they're not in any rush. So we go through these, I lost my connection to my mouse. We go through steps 2, 3, 4, and 5. And then we go, what's better for you, tonight at 4 or would 7 be better? Holy shit, you just blew it. Like, that's nauseating. So if they're not in any rush, like, look, my kid was in a rush to get his ACL repaired, and he couldn't get in for 2 weeks. And we had connections with the surgeon. So this is not surgery. This is not life and death. This is not a career, a football injury where you want to get into rehab as quickly as possible. This is somebody who says they're not selling for 6 months. Don't overdo it. Now, let's talk about the buyer offers. Who has mastered the buyer offer? Okay, so you get a sign call. You get an internet lead. You get a personal referral. I don't really care where the source of the lead comes from. You're talking to a buyer. Here's what you don't do. Do not ask them any qualifying questions. The goal is to make 4 offers. Be prepared to deliver 4 offers, because the first offer is only going to work a small percentage of the time, right? There's only if I'm trying to think about back when I met my wife Janet. It was we're going on 30 years now. But if I make 1 offer and it works, I mean, that's lucky. That, you're more often than not, you're going to get some resistance. People aren't ready for your offer. So what's the first offer? Who can write it in the chat box? You're talking to a buyer. This is a pop quiz, gang. Why would a buyer want to meet with you? What if a buyer calls you and says, hey, I saw this property. They're on Zillow. And I saw this property. I was wondering if I could see it today. You better not say okay, right? I'd be really pissed. I'd be really upset. Okay, so you guys are giving me bullets. You're on it. Nick, you're closest. Hey, we've got a buyer advantage program, and if getting a good deal is important to you, selection will help you do that. I can give you priority, instant, real-time access to all the hottest properties that match your criteria, with interior, exterior pictures, days on market, and other useful seller information. Would that be useful? So the buyer advantage program, which really is access to the MLS. That's my first offer. Would that be of interest to you? There will be people that say yes, but there will be 90% of them that will say, no, we're not in any rush. Kind of like John Porter's clients who said, yeah, we're not in any rush. John somehow got them together, got them pre-approved, got them out looking at property. They found something they liked. The numbers made sense, and now they're under agreement. That's how it goes. So we want to offer selection. Buyers want selection. What if they say no, though? What if they say, nah, we're not in any rush. I'm already getting listings from Century 21. What would you say? We want to sweeten the offer and let them know the types of properties that they would be getting with our list. They would get bank foreclosures, corporate-owned properties, recent price reductions, probates, estates, sellers in trouble, homes that are listed minutes ago. So as soon as a property becomes available, boom. Off-market properties, great job, Bill. So types is number 2. 3, risk reversal. No cost, no obligation to buy a home, no obligation to ever even look at a home. If they still say no, I use a setup question and I ask them, hey, are you looking on sites like Zillow and Realtor.com? And they go, yeah. Oh, you're kidding me. I was afraid you would say that. Gang, here's the opportunity. We can work harder or we can work smarter. If all of you will take this away from today's call, do a gratitude list. Make out some affirmations where you take your future and you put it to the present and you control your self-talk. And then you master the buyer and the seller script. You won't need a lot of leads. Because every time if I talk to 10 buyers, good things are happening 70% of the time. I'm getting an appointment with 7 out of 10 because there's no risk. Hey, they're looking and I have a better way of looking. Why wouldn't you want to do that? Well, I'm working with another agent. Okay, well, why don't you get their properties too and get mine? Hey, do you have any objection to me working my ass off to find you an amazing, incredible deal? My Buyer Advantage program will get you off-market properties. It'll get you homes that don't have for sale signs that you wouldn't even know exist. So I want you to get really, really good at these 4 offers for buyers and these 4 offers for sellers. If you do that, you don't need more leads, gang. I could make a fortune on these 20 leads. But here's the other deal. You got 66 there. What's great about today's call is we found out they're partial leads. They're not bad leads. They're just addresses only. You got 86 opportunities, gang. Wow. Average commission, 10 grand conservatively. I don't know what the price is in your market, but 10 grand. How many of you think there's 3, 4, 5 deals out of this bucket of 86? All day long. Our job is to find them. And the good news is, no offense to my coaching counterparts who are well-intended, but there are coaches out there that go, hey, knock on doors, real estate's a numbers game, cold call people, work your sphere of influence, do pop buys, pop by the people that you just sold a house to who have no freaking interest in selling. Listen, if you want to pop by because you like that person and you consider them a friend, or you know there's value to you, an interest in you and meeting them, great. But don't disguise it as a pop by so that you pretend that you like them and you're really soliciting business. I'm not saying it's a bad strategy. It's just not the most effective. The most effective strategy is use some bait to get 86 people to reach out to you and then call those people and shoot fish in a barrel. It's awesome. Tom said, what do you say when they say they've seen all the properties and this is the only one I'm interested in seeing? It's at the bottom of my market and very little selection. I don't know what at the bottom of your market. So you have seen all the properties. I would say, have you seen the ones that aren't in the MLS? They'd be like, no, where are those? And are you seeing foreclosures? Are you seeing corporate owned properties? Have you seen any probates, Mr. Buyer? Have you seen any price reductions? You want to ask questions that create doubt. Like, where are you seeing them? Zillow? Realtor.com? So now you can go right into the setup question, Tom. You're seeing them on Zillow and Realtor.com, or you get another agent sending you listings? So why don't you get my list too? Do you have any objection to me finding you really good deals? So if I know what you're looking for, I'll work for you too. When can we get together? So that's what I would say to that guy. All right, gang, we're at the top of the hour. Hope you enjoyed today's call. Stay positive, but I want to end on this. This is not just a rah-rah, pump you up, positive session. Positive is important. Being positive is important. Focusing on what's good is important. Learning from your mistakes is important, but it's not enough. At the end of the day, it comes down to skills. You know, you can go out in your garden all day long, as Tony Robbins says, and say, there's no weeds, there's no weeds, there's no weeds. That's an affirmation. The truth is, there are weeds in your garden. You got to get down on your hands and knees and pick them. The truth is that there's tons of opportunities in your market under your nose, but you have to apply yourself. You have to learn the scripts. You have to learn the offer. You have to be diligent, and you have to reach these people and convey that offer to those people. And if you do, there will be no weeds in your garden, and you will have lots of income. So I hope you all enjoyed today's call. I look forward to hearing from you. Inner Circle is a great way to post what's going on, what you're doing. I monitor that, and some of you have emailed me or texted me, and I appreciate that. I love hearing from you. So keep it up, and I will talk to you on the next call. Bye-bye.